everyone.
Wait,
and what are we?
You didn't write down woo.
Alive.
We are live and alive on this
Holy
sunny.
moly.
I am clipping. We
Yeah,
are
yeah.
live and alive
Here, we'll just do this.
on this sunny January 12th, 2024. This is our Data Queen, joined by analyst Matt Mascardi, Jesse the Money Whisperer, Hazelnut Rawlis, and intern Chantal.
Yay.
No nickname?
Welcome, Chantal.
Just
Yay.
intern Chantal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I see.
We don't know her quite yet.
Very basic.
We're not at a nickname level, but we will be.
We'll get there maybe by the end of the show. On today's weekly wrap-up, we have Boeing's apology tour. I think they tour more than Taylor Swift.
wow.
We have
Ooh, a
exciting battery news. This is just
Battery
for me.
news? Are you kidding?
No, dude, this is unprecedented battery news. We do a checkup on Gen Z. We list all the jerks and all the things that makes us exausted.
List
Yeah,
the
full of
jerks.
good stuff. So,
So
All right, let's list
dismissive
some
of a whole
jerks.
generation. A checkup on Gen Z.
the Jay-Z pulse. But
The Jay-Z.
Jay-Z pulls.
Oh, oops.
It'd be
Gen Z.
Jay-Z pulls.
God, what am I saying? We're going to start with you, Damien, with your story of the week.
Let's
Yes.
do it. Meanwhile, I'm going to turn Ari down.
Still hate that music. Still hate that transition. All right. It was actually an easy week for me. I'm going to start at the top. The story we've been talking about in the office a lot. I was in the office this week. I was in Hartford.
Yes, you were visiting.
Which
and
oddly-
you did not get hazelnut coffee, so
Which-
I don't know about your nickname anymore.
And it oddly coincided with the fact that our intern showed up right after I left. I don't know how that worked out.
Maybe his name should be Cranky Rawlis.
But the big story of the week is Boeing CEO's tearful apology. And can I just I want to pause on this headline because for so many reasons it sort of encapsulates our history here at Free Float. First of all, they don't mention his name. It's just Boeing CEO. Why doesn't the media, the business news, whatever, why don't they name these people? Why is it just Boeing CEO? Why
They've
isn't it
learned
Dave Calhoun?
nothing.
Why wouldn't we want to know the person who runs one of the most important companies in the world? Second of all, not only an apology, which is one of our categories here at the show, but a tearful apology. And let's not forget, let's circle all the way back to the beginning. This is basically, Matt, the company that we started talking about as our prime example of what we do here was Boeing, and we're now full circle back to Boeing.
I know, it makes me a little bit sad. It's almost like
a
we've
tearful-
learned nothing. It's like
tearful sadness.
It's like I'm mildly tearful, yeah.
So CEO Dave Calhoun apologized, and my favorite quote from that apology was, "This stuff matters."
Whoa. He's so right.
All right, so that's the big story of the week. A door on a Boeing-made airplane blew off on an Alaska Airlines flight over a body of water. I don't know, but that's the big
It was
story.
over
Over a landmass, whatever, doesn't
a high
matter.
school teacher.
They were told to not fly over water
Yes.
specifically.
Okay,
Yeah.
they
But
got
they took
that
off.
right. They got that right.
They got that right. Yeah. They did that though because a warning light kept going off, and they were like, well, let's not fly over water just in case. That doesn't feel right to me. That feels like maybe you get that light checked out.
I'm sorry, but I'd still rather, if my plane was going down, I'd still rather jump into a body of water than onto a parking lot.
I think you've watched Sully too many times.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. The second story of the week, I hated to do it, but this one was just all over the place. Wall Street Journal reporting claims that Elon Musk's drug use is causing concern. And
Oh, right.
and of course,
This is a big
Blah,
story
blah,
before
blah.
the plane, right?
it's still a big
Before the
story.
door.
And of course, my reaction always with these type of stories is, this is the thing you're upset about? I mean, the entire country and the world is on some kind of drug constantly. This is the one you're worried about, his drug use? Because also, I think it was yesterday, Elon Musk co-signs racist claim that black students have low IQs. He said, and this is, I picked this one because it is in relation to the Boeing story. He said it will take an airplane crashing and killing hundreds of people for them to change this crazy policy of, well, he meant to say DEI, but he cleverly changed it to die, DIE,
So clever.
which is diversity,
so
inclusion, and equity. He tweeted this in response to a post arguing that IQ averages were lower at historically black colleges and universities and lower than the average IQ of U.S. Air Force pilots. So he's just full-on conspiracy, racist, misogynist, anti-trans crazy. Anyway, but people are worried about his drug use. That's the second story of the week.
He did have another meme too, where he showed he did that classic trope where it was like black on black crime is highest, and white on black crime is really low. But then he showed this meme had a media like a TV camera on the white on black crime only and excluded all the other data. And he was like, "When are we going to use the data to understand?" He's full off.
He's fully a horrible person.
He's gone.
Fully a
You
horrible
know,
person.
the thing about this report is that it talks about his drug use in social settings, right? So all these people have seen
Those
him use drugs, know
best
about
times
this.
to use drugs.
So I'm wondering, why is the Wall Street Journal coming out with it now?
I'm wondering why the board
Hard-hitting
hasn't
question.
asked him
No, but
to
like-
made him resign as CEO.
Why
That's a
now?
better
Is it
question.
because they're getting set up to vote him off? Maybe.
Sure.
No, think about
Optimism.
think about every other company, any other CEO. Let's say the CEO of NVIDIA is snorting cocaine off of
Dude, but he was snorting cocaine last year and the year before that
Matt-
and the year before that.
Matt, the CEO of the company that does dry proofing for basements here in South Portland, Maine, wouldn't last if they were quoting so
That's
much
what I
racist,
mean.
misogynist, anti-trans, anti-Semitic crap. It just wouldn't last.
Like the CEO of AutoZone, if he said black people are stupid and I'm going to take some ketamine, would be fired 9 seconds later. I don't understand just because he did it before.
I'm just saying,
doing?
maybe this is their backwards way of actually trying to get him out. Be
No.
like, let's publish this
Well,
story.
we also reported earlier this week that there was a Tesla director who did find his behavior abhorrent. Instead of voting him
that's
out, she stepped down, and this was a black woman, Linda Rice Johnson, I believe her name was. Linda Johnson Rice. Anyway, that's the second story of the week. Third story of the week is kind of it's a twist on this headline, but this is another good story for us. The headline is Al Gore is officially too old to serve on Apple's board. Okay, so he's stepping down along with fellow old guy James Bell. They're both 75 years old. But here's the twist. Here's the great twist. According to Apple, the board has adopted a policy that directors generally may not stand for re-election after attaining age 75. Yes, generally, the adverb is very important there because they go on to say, in consideration of the significant recent transitions in board composition and the value of retaining directors who have developed deep insights into the company during their tenure, the board determined that it would be in the best interest of Apple and its shareholders to ask Ron Sugar to stand for re-election. So they're simultaneously getting rid of two people because of their policy, and they're deciding to ignore the policy for the third person. So what is the point of this stupid policy?
No, the most important thing is who the third person is here.
Ron
favorite.
Sugar, too valuable.
I mean, if Ken Duberstein and Boeing are the patron saints of free flow analytics, then Ron Duberstein is he's like the second coming, or Ron Sugar rather. Right? Yeah, Ron Duberstein. They're all one person in my brain. They're all just one thing.
And finally, the fourth story of the week is, unfortunately, there's no headline for this. Nobody cares about this, but this is an important move in corporate America. Starbucks on Tuesday, Starbucks, the big drug company out
I've
there
heard
in
of them.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Starbucks appointed 3. It's actually you rarely see even 2 new board members at once, but 3. They appointed 3 new directors for the sole purpose to fight off union activist Strategic Organizing Center, which is putting up a proxy fight to get 3 of their own directors on the Starbucks board.
Oh, so Starbucks just did this
Diluted the
So
preemptively.
they're playing defense.
Wow.
They're appointing like what looks like 3 very random directors: Neil Mohan, the YouTube CEO; Michael Sievert, the T-Mobile CEO; and then Daniel Javier Cerveche Montul, who was from Grupo Bimbo.
3 men All men.
Yes, 3 men. Yes.
Yeah, they couldn't. There weren't any women. There weren't.
But
any.
but anyway, to me, the not only is this big news in
CEOs
general, but
too.
that nobody
Nice.
covers this. Nobody bothers to cover
No,
this.
that's correct.
So anyway, those are the 4 stories. Boeing CEO apology, Elon Musk drug use, Al Gore too old to serve on Apple's
For
board.
Ron Sugar's not
and-
old enough.
Exactly, and 3 new directors at Starbucks.
Wow.
Well, I
And
think it's a pretty easy
Chantal, I
one,
hope
so I'm
you were
gonna go
listening,
first.
Chantal, because you are going to be forced to
Chantal
vote on these
zoned
dumb
out for
stories.
80% of that if she was smart.
All right.
I'm gonna go with the Boeing story.
Does seem like
because
the obvious story.
That
Yeah.
just can't.
Jesse.
What do you-
Well, to keep it interesting,
Yes.
I am gonna go with the. I'm
compelling.
between 2. They're very similar.
compelling.
I'll go with the Ron Sugar.
Oh,
slash
also good.
I like
Al
it.
Gore.
Inside
Also good. I
baseball.
like that.
I like that.
Chantal, you have a vote?
Yeah, I would go for the Al Gore story as well.
Whoa, Matt, you have a little work ahead of you.
So if you vote for Boeing, Matt, Damien gets to break a tie.
Yeah, I don't care about Elon's drug use. I care that he's still he still owns companies and is on
Yeah,
as a
the richest
CEO,
man.
publicly traded company. The Starbucks move is actually the Disney move. They diluted the board when they had like 17 activist investors too. So that feels the same. That it does come down to Boeing or Al Gore is too old. I'm going with Boeing, which means Damien needs to
Look,
choose.
Nobody's wrong here because I think we actually have.
No, that's false. Somebody is wrong.
I think 3 of these stories. Forget Elon Musk; he's just a jerk. But 3 of these stories are really just great stories for free flow. So I think you could have picked any of those 3 stories, but it has to be Boeing. I mean,
That's correct.
Because basically
that side's wrong.
This might
Yeah.
be,
That's what he's basically
Strong
saying.
side.
but this might be the number one
We'll
selling
get a
point.
next category.
This might be the number one selling point for our company because I mean we basically warned you that when 2 of their airlines went
We
down
warned you.
years ago that they weren't getting any fresh people in there to provide oversight. They were just getting familiar insiders who brought on more of their friends. Nothing was changing, and I think
Maybe this is the most depressing headline. Like we
Okay,
go
but-
over and over again. How many times do you have to say this?
This
You
is
know
clear,
what's funny?
It should be exhausting.
clear proof that once in a while you should listen to Matt Moscardi. Once in a while.
Actually, it's funny. I posted on LinkedIn about Boeing and their crony board, and a bunch of people said we're talking about Jack Welch and how many of them just subscribe to Jack Welch philosophy. And to me, it's like, that's true and great. But the fact that they all came from one place, like a bunch of them came from GE, they all knew each other. Isn't that more important than the particular philosophy
Right.
that they subscribe to? You can't have a fucking board full of people who all agree before they even get in the room. What's the point? That's not the point of the board. All right, I'm done.
All right.
Boeing is correct.
I've stopped
We're gonna-
talking.
We're gonna move on to me.
Yes, my
Goodness
favorite.
of the week. It took me a little while to come up with 3,
Oh,
but
that's depressing.
got good stuff. We're gonna start off with Minnesota,
make me
capital
happy.
St. Paul, city of 300,000, makes history as first large U.S. city with all-female council.
Whoa.
That's nice.
7 women.
7.
7 women.
How do they find them? They couldn't find any at Starbucks.
They had to look under the couches.
It's only
But-
like 52% of the population, basically.
All 7 women. They're under 40 years old.
Whoa.
6 out of the 7 are women of
Wow.
color.
What?
Wow.
Are you
Yep.
serious?
Yep.
Wow.
So the median age of St. Paul is 32 and a half.
Does that mean they all had lower IQs?
Absolutely.
This is
not.
a major trigger for Bill Ackman and Elon Musk.
Yeah, an entire city just went woke.
I can't wait to see all the shit they get done.
This is what the Barbie
Right.
movie was about.
This is actually like ethnically and by age representative of their city. So that was really awesome.
Is that
Moved
right?
to St. Paul.
Yes.
Wait, 6 out of 7 people in St. Paul are people of color?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
It is majority person.
just go.
colored
I'm just
city,
going with
though.
what you said, Ari.
Okay.
You can
Yeah,
stop
there
there.
are
I'm
no
voting for
men
this
in
one.
that city too.
There are no men in the city.
All
Except for
right.
Paul,
And they're all-
obviously.
Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, and Santa Fe cap instantly costs at $35. So
I
these
should've done
this
3
years
companies.
ago.
Okay.
Even that still feels
That
too
doesn't mean
expensive.
it's not good.
Yeah.
Good
If I,
list
free.
of should have been.
Should have been
if
free.
I tell you that something, somebody said they were going to do something, you say come back when it's done.
Yeah,
well,
if they all-
it's done.
Here.
Jan 1.
Oh,
If all
wow.
the boards fire Elon, would you say should have been done earlier?
Yup.
No,
Wow.
you'd be
Wow.
happy
Celebrate.
it was done.
So these 3 companies, they control
They're trying to dunk on you.
almost the entire insulin market. And because of
Fine.
the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, Medicare patients will pay no more than $35 a month. However, because of that,
Medicare
there's
patients are still
there
paying that
is-
much?
There was pressure to reduce the cost and extending that to uninsured Americans and Americans insured outside of Medicare.
$35 a month. The people who are on Medicare probably spend $35 a month at Starbucks where they couldn't find a woman
Oh,
to
wait.
put on
Are
the
you,
board.
are you like
Come
poor
on.
people shaming now? What are you doing?
No, I'm just saying $35 a month.
Stop
is
drinking a
not-
latte and you
what-
can be a billionaire like Bill
Oh,
Ackman.
God.
What was it? It was before. It was like $10 billion a
Well,
month.
and just a little refresher, because this is a big deal, 8.4 million Americans need insulin.
Wow.
1 in 4,
That's
Maybe they
too
need
many.
less.
they,
Yeah,
they
it's
couldn't
way too
afford their
many.
medication, so
Now
they
you're
were
fat
rationing. They were rationing. The cost of insulin tripled in the early 2000s, and it went up by
There's your
25% between
Okay.
2017 and 2022. So very much needed. It's
So
in
we're not-
effect now.
So we're not
Good
even
job.
getting to a price that makes sense, which would be, maybe like 2 pennies, because we're really dealing with the fact that it shouldn't have
100%.
tripled in the early 2000s, right?
Pennies.
Correct.
What a
It's not
socialist.
free. So yeah.
All right.
And
I'm not voting for that one,
lastly-
all right. What else you got?
Oh, well, you're definitely not going to vote for this one either. A huge battery has replaced Hawaii's last coal plant.
I might like that. I'm
Back
okay
up.
with that.
Hawaii had a coal plant?
Yeah, it shut
had
down
several,
in
did they not?
2022. Yes.
Tell me
Yep.
about this huge battery. What's so good about it?
It's been called the most advanced energy facility on the planet.
Ooh.
By who?
Yeah, what does that
By a
mean?
guy in Hawaii?
That could be like 10 Red Bulls. I don't know what that means.
I didn't ask.
So the Kapolei energy storage gigantic battery has the same capacity as the old coal plant did, but it can discharge energy much faster. So if there's a huge blackout because of earthquake, whatever, it would take the other
Earthquake.
plant, several minutes or I think up to half an hour to
Okay.
restore energy to everyone. But this one can do it in seconds,
Ooh.
which is crazy. So the plan
Sean,
for this
they can-
battery
Wait in the dark for a minute. It's
is
fine.
to suck all the extra electricity during the day when it's overflowing from their renewable generation, mostly solar panels, and deliver it back in the evening at a much lower price. And
Look-
energy costs in Hawaii are high, so this is super helpful.
It's fair for me to tell Chantal, our intern Chantal, that Ari always has a story about a battery every week. So take that when you're voting, take that into consideration.
No,
This is
let her vote on the
important.
merits. She's going to vote on the merits of the stories.
This is important.
Which means the
no
three-
more coal plants in Hawaii.
The 3 stories
Woohoo!
are St. Paul, Minnesota, all-female council, insulin cost of $35, and a big battery.
Yeah, and I would like Damien to vote first.
I mean,
Oh.
you know where my vote's going. I mean, come on. Do
Fine.
I have to vote? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll vote for you. St. Paul. Got
Yes,
it.
of course. Of course.
Such a surprise. I'm surprised.
I mean, it's actually a big day for diversity and leadership. One of them being my winners of the week, and also the new prime minister of France is a 35-year-old Jewish gay man. No one knows what to do. Of course, there's already reports that he on X on Twitter he is getting so many horrible anti-Semitic comments, waiting for the homophobic comments, but. So thank God there's still a platform to direct all your hate called X, owned by Elon Musk. So there you go.
All right, Jesse, what's your vote?
Gotta go with St. Paul. I don't know how I couldn't.
Oh, man. Okay,
it's looking
Chantal.
sweepy. Chantal, make it different.
Yeah, I was about to say I was going to go with the insulin one.
Oh.
Yay! Somebody cares about people that need insulin.
So my vote only matters if I vote for insulin, which I'm not going to vote for insulin. So
You should.
I'm going to vote for the huge battery.
Yeah.
Actually, which means the
You were
winner
hating
here.
on it.
I like Hawaii.
Yep.
So this
Well,
was
Good job,
Your
Hawaii.
wife
homer
is from
choice.
Hawaii, right?
Yeah,
So
my,
it's-
my wife
yeah.
is her family's from Hawaii, so I'm gonna go with that. But I
right.
lose anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
All right. Minnesota,
means
St. Paul City Council, all women.
Oh, jeez.
which means now I get to depress you all.
Oh, assholey stuff of the week.
Brace yourself, Chantal. These hurt.
I have
I think
four.
it's gonna hurt you more, Damien.
Yeah, I have
Probably.
four, and I'm going to
Oh, no.
going to. One is long and the rest are short.
Oh, God. I'm afraid
The
of
long one is just horrible, though, because I had to nominate again. Bill fucking Ackman is what I nominated again. This has got to be, the 23rd week running that Bill Ackman has been nominated for
There's
Asshole of
just,
the Week.
there's just something wrong with him.
So after his wife is outed as having plagiarized or lightly plagiarized in her dissertation, whatever we want to call it, he posted on Wednesday a 4,200-word post defending his wife and
Posted where?
detailing
Posted where?
on X, obviously, the only place he posts.
The only place where you can't find anti-Semitism, I guess, is...
He detailed his personal trauma, and I mean, this is a blow-by-blow account of how he got the news, when he got the news, what he was thinking, what he was feeling. It was a really long post. Here, I'm going to quote from it, and because he basically does his own work of nominating himself as asshole.
Wait, can I paraphrase it? Does it say this stuff matters?
Basically, he said they were on vacation and asleep when Business Insider tried to reach them, and he said,
Quaint.
"quote." When we finally hear the phone ring, Neri and I are in bed in our hotel enjoying our last morning before
Oh my
packing
God.
and heading back to New York City.
Was
At
they're
my
enjoying
hotel
they're
in the-
enjoying the last morning while they're asleep?
At the Four Seasons, probably. Yes.
We are
7
still on
seasons.
vacation.
Relatable.
And we are still on vacation and we are not expecting any calls. So I thought the incoming call was likely urgent.
Oh, no.
For context, my mom is 83, Neri's dad is 90, and her mom
so
has
you're old.
Alzheimer's.
Okay.
No, he's basically doing a thing where
Someone's
you have to
dead.
Yeah, you have
Everybody
to pity
does that.
him because he was getting frantic calls and all of a sudden he's
Oh,
like,
no.
my mom is dead. So he's doing that thing. As if Claudine Gay doesn't have a mom or dad.
So nobody calls him when he's at a hotel? Is that how that phone works?
I don't know, when he's on vacation with his wife, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care about that so much. What I don't care about at all is hearing every bowel movement he had leading up to finding out
We
his
were
wife
spooning.
plagiarized.
I was Little Spoon.
This is probably equal to the death threats against Claudine Gay. No, this is probably equal.
This is about the same thing. So they finally talked to Business Insider, who Bill determines has an agenda to get his wife fired from MIT, even though she stopped working there in 2020.
Wait, is that part true?
That part is true, yeah. And he comes to that because Business Insider reporter asked for confirmation that she stopped working there, right? They're trying to confirm it, and he said
they
that
would.
question implies that they're trying to get her fired, right? That's
the implication of
that was the
doing
implication.
the work of a journalist. Okay.
And now he begins the but section of his screed. Quote, after several hours of work, we determined that in 4 paragraphs of the 330-page document in which Neri had correctly provided the proper citation for each author, she should have used quotation marks at the beginning and end of each paragraph. Now, bear in mind, Neri's
here we go.
thesis has 2,774 paragraphs, which implies an error rate of 0.1141%.
Oh, no.
He does the full 0.1141%. In other
it's
words,
a populist math time, like my segment.
99.8859% of the paragraphs Neri used proper citation. Not perfect, but pretty darn good.
I see what he did there. He subtracted from 1. Is that what he did? Is that how he
That's what he did there. That's
Yeah.
how he got to that. Yeah, that's good. Also, for one sentence in her dissertation, Neri had properly paraphrased the author, but by mistake had admitted
Yeah, we
citing
get what
the
plagiarism
author.
is. Yeah.
Microsoft Word does not have a feature which counts sentences, but it looks like on average there are about 4 sentences per paragraph in her dissertation. So using this assumption, Neri's error rate for sentences was 1 divided by 2,774 times
maniacal.
4, or 1 out of 11,096 sentences. In other words, Neri accurately provided citations for 99.0988% of the sentences.
Oh my God, I can't.
According
Okay.
to
That's like a 1% error rate? Is that what that is?
according to plagiarism.org, to plagiarize means, and then defines it.
Oh, no.
Plagiarism.org.
So he goes deep into what I'm calling SYMBY, which is sympathy in my backyard, but not yours.
Yeah.
And it only works for billionaires. The billionaires are deserving of the sympathy.
But how is one to know if plagiarism is in fact a mistake or in fact plagiarism?
Well, this is when they found what Claudine Gay
That was plagiarism, right?
Plagiarism,
That was
right?
not a mistake.
They basically found similar sentences without citations.
Is that a
and
mistake?
they were mostly definitional. Well, he's claiming that Neary's was a mistake.
Okay, it's a
but
mistake.
Claudine Gay said,
That's theft.
like, in Claudine Gay's case, it was theft. It was basically fraud. So he goes on to say that Business Insider's campaign to destroy Neary could have literally killed her. He says that quote. That's a quote.
Literally.
What?
If she did not have profound love and support from me, love from our family,
He
incredible
saved her
friends,
life?
and
I didn't know he
confidence and
saved her
respect
life.
from the
I
most
forget it.
important
I take it all
scientists
back.
and blah 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 during this difficult time.
What
But
was she gonna do?
He says it has been very, very challenging for her. She suffered severe emotional harm, and as an introvert, it has been very, very difficult for her to make it through each day.
Hey, I'm an
Jesse,
introvert.
you
No one
know
helps
an
me.
introvert life.
I am introverted.
I'm reading that and I'm thinking to myself, what did Claudine Gay think? What did
Right.
She was getting actual death threats. I'm
as
sure
if-
Neary wasn't.
Yeah.
as if they don't have emotions because they're like pointless drones that go to work and hate Jews. Like what are we? But your challenging day was. What are we talking about?
Can I ask you a sidebar question here, Matt? Do you think his wife gave him permission to publish this? This just
Yes.
Yeah. They do it all together, and
makes
I have
it all
nothing
look
against.
stupid.
I have nothing against defending your wife, and I don't think going after her was a good idea either. Nor do I think being an asshole about Claudine
I don't think they were going
Gay.
after her. I think they were just making a point.
I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. The reaction,
thing is
the whole thing of like, I can scrutinize you and throw billions of dollars behind that scrutiny and get you ousted, but you can't scrutinize me is my problem, because this is the part that only billionaires can do, and the rest of us asshole peons are not able to do. Quote, I reached out to a board member I knew at Business Insider and to its controlling shareholders, the co-CEOs of KKR,
Yeah.
and to Matthias Dopfner, the chairman and CEO of Axel
this guy is
Springer,
such a
which
pain.
owns Business Insider. I reached out to Joe Bay because he's co-CEO of KKR. I reached out to Henry Kravis because he's a representative of the board of Axel Springer.
Oh, my God.
I called
So now
the
he's
board
just
member.
name dropping.
He's just naming everybody
Hey.
he called.
This is what we say happens all the time. So.
Yeah.
He's basically saying that
Is
it
he
happens.
trying to get them fired or something? Like, what is he trying
No,
to get
he
here?
said he wanted to know, he wanted an investigation, he wanted to get to the bottom of it, and he got an answer back saying, quote, after spending a lot of time over the past few weeks looking at and thinking about the definition of plagiarism, in quotes, and some cited examples, I agree with you. This is what Dopfner said to Bill Ackman. I agree with you about it. Academia needs to narrow the definition. So now we're talking about the definition of plagiarism as it pertains to his wife, but not the woman he campaigned to get fired from Harvard. And then Bill says, I made one request. I asked him to publicly disclose that Axel Springer had launched an investigation of the story, and he said he would get back to me on that request. And then they did.
Okay, you
announce
gotta
that.
stop.
Really?
That's
wow.
You gotta stop.
That's it. 4,200 words defending his wife, 0 words defending Claudine Gay. So Bill Ackman's your first nominee.
Wow.
All right, who
Look
else?
at this defense. If only those students that he was harassing could have a defense.
Yeah,
Somebody
imagine
to
they-
support
Doxing.
them.
Doxing.
Like,
doxed. That
like
would have been
Bill
fun.
Ackman.
All
If
right,
only.
your option number 2 is, can we just name the fucking CEOs?
Thank you.
And this gets to Damien's point. Here's 3 headlines from just this week. Qualcomm CEO pay jumps 395% in slow year for phone chips. So man
Yeah.
gets rich without selling anything.
Could be a woman, but likely a man. Yeah.
No, it is a man. Walgreens CEO bought up stock after cutting dividend.
We know that's a man.
And Boeing CEO tearful apology. Not one of them mentioned the name
How
of
about-
the person.
Yeah. Why don't we make a compromise? How about we at least do like Boeing man CEO? You don't have to name them. How about that? Give us a little bit of insight.
I mean, if it was a woman, they would say Boeing's female CEO.
Yeah, that's what they would
actually,
do.
are you know that's 100% correct? Yes,
I
they
do.
would name. They would probably name the woman. Like,
Not only
yeah.
is that 100% correct, but it is because you don't need the man.
Right.
It's very non-distinguishing.
Right.
You just have to. You can do the female.
It wouldn't be tearful apology either. It'd be broke down.
Yes,
Yeah,
it would be.
hysterical, overly
Weeping,
emotional,
hysterical, shrill,
Hysterical.
Probably on her
irrational,
period.
undereducated,
Hysterical apology
DEI,
backfires.
We caught her on a
DEI
bad
higher
beat.
apology.
No. Elon Musk came out and said that DEI was to blame for Boeing's planes. So the
right.
tearful apology was because of DEI eventually. Somehow it's all DEI's fault. And speaking of, number 3 option is Boeing.
Okay.
Which just
As your
door
asshole of the
plugs.
week, the corporation.
As an asshole of the week. And I wrote in door plugs. That's all I wrote in, door plugs. Which
Before this week, I
Chantal-
don't think anybody knew there were door plugs.
Chantal pointed something out about the door plugs, right? Which is that they...
That's in your Gen Z
they're-
section. That's in her Gen Z
Yeah, we'll get
section.
to that. We'll get to it, which I didn't know about door plugs because I
Teaser.
don't do any research about door
Teaser.
plugs.
I didn't know they
I
existed.
just love saying door plugs.
I know because it makes me think of butt plugs. That's what
You
it
guys
is.
love that?
Yes.
It's so fun to
Taking
say.
a weird turn.
I know.
And finally, Damien mentioned the story, but Apple board succession. Here's a hat tip to Andrew Drost. He's got a Substack called Mr. CorpGov. James Bell, Al Gore, and Ron Sugar have hit the bylaw requirement, as Damien said, but Sugar is getting a pass. He's currently the chair of the audit committee. Ron Sugar, so if you listen to the Proxy Countdown, which is our other show, Ron Sugar, we talked about network power. Ron Sugar is the 3rd most powerful director in the entire world. He has a network value, meaning the people he knows have control over $105 trillion of market capitalization. That's just people he sat on boards with and their friends, right?
Is that just Apple and Microsoft?
It's Amgen, Apple, Uber,
I'm kidding.
Chevron.
It's a dumb market
he's been
cap
on
joke.
A half dozen others in the
Which is
last
why
20
nobody
years.
laughed.
But we cannot find a single person to replace the 75-year-old Ron Sugar with. There's not one
Despite
person.
the policy.
There's a policy. There's not one individual on earth who could take Ron Sugar's seat and do as good a job or learn Apple quickly. Not one. Not one. Not one. So Apple, your board succession plan sucks. Those are your options. Your options are Bill Ackman, not naming CEOs, Boeing's butt plugs, and Apple board succession.
I'm going to vote first because I like
Go
going
ahead.
first.
Yeah, you do. Actually, you do.
And I'm going to say not naming CEOs.
Ooh, that's a
Okay.
Because,
It's a nod
Come
to
on.
me. I like this.
come on.
It feels
We need it.
like pandering.
I'll go second because I'm not going to vote for that one. And first of all, I got to applaud you, Matt, for I'm looking at the show notes, and you've abbreviated hat tip to H/T. I love that. Hat.
That's right.
Is that a known abbreviation of hat tip?
That is. Yep. Congrats to me for knowing
I gotta go to the top because I guess other than Elon Musk, no one has really irritated me in the last year like Bill Ackman. I did a whole diatribe against him on Wednesday because of the very specific DEI policies that he removed quietly from Pershing Square Management, the hedge fund that he runs. He very quietly removed passages that used words like inclusion because
It's a dirty word now.
Yes, because I think inclusion implies some kind of an action, right? It implies that you're actually going to hire someone and include them. He very quietly removed them, and he's just an irksome jerk. So I'm going to vote for him, Bill Ackman.
Which brings us to Jesse and Chantal. Anybody feel strongly?
Okay, I will go. I'll do Apple board succession.
Ooh.
Keep this lively.
Chantal, if you do
A lot of pressure, Chantal.
Boeing, then we've got a 4-way tie.
Matt, you'll break
Unfortunately,
that
I'm
tie.
going with Bill Ackman.
Yes!
I wish that
Love
someone
Chantal.
would defend me like he's defending his wife.
Right.
If
Thank
I ever
you.
submit an essay with 4 paragraphs
Chantal.
worth of plagiarized content.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm there for you. I will
Let's
defend
go.
you.
Well, just to be clear, I think his Matt's section should be called the Bill Ackman of the week.
True.
But that could be. We
Ooh,
could just
Elon
rename
Musk
her.
of the
Ari,
week.
Ari, I like
you know,
this.
because
Ackmaniest.
Ackmaniest of the week, because we have to make it an eist for some reason.
That's a smooth list
we gotta
name.
keep it going.
Just generalize, yeah.
All right,
Which brings us to
Chantal, you're up.
this segment. What are we calling it?
What are we calling it?
Right now, it's called Gen Z-est of the week.
Wait. Say it again.
Gen Z-est of the week.
Gen Z-ist. I like that.
You have
Okay.
to be
The-
Gen Z to be able to say it.
Yeah.
The name could use some workshopping, but the idea is to talk about the stories that I feel like a lot of my peers are also talking
I love
about.
it.
So picking up where Matt actually left off with Boeing, I highlighted an article by the American Prospect, which claims that the incident was a byproduct of Boeing's financial mindset.
Ooh.
Okay, I like this.
So a little comment I had is I wish that we'd learned the lesson from this summer when the Titanic submersible imploded.
right.
It seems like you cannot cut costs by cutting corners when you manufacture an important machine that carries people.
What?
Yeah. Underwater or in the
spurious.
air.
What a concept.
But yeah, relevant to my many college peers, it seems that Ryanair, among other airlines that were consolidating in the early 2000s, were pushing for discounts and more seats from Boeing. So they
Okay.
decided to mass produce their airline it's called a fuselage.
Fuselage.
It's the main body of the
One thing you
aircraft.
know how to pronounce.
The metal tube.
Bringing the engineering here. But basically what they did is they mass produced aircrafts with holes in it and then said, oh, it's your job, subcontractors, to fill those holes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
Because
and
they
this
can
was
have-
I
because
don't like that at all.
and this is because a discount airliner, Ryanair,
Yeah, it's
just
cheaper
wanted a
to-
bunch of cheap airplanes.
It's not
No,
just
they wanted
Ryanair.
more
There's-
Right,
seats.
as an example.
No,
Wow.
they wanted more seats in the plane. So what the holes on the metal tube are for, they allow for different configurations, right? So instead of having more exit rows, which would allow for fewer seats, they were like, let's jam pack the shit out of this.
Oh
and
boy.
put, instead of those emergency exits, let's do the least amount of emergency exits we can do.
Honestly, it makes me never want to go in a pressurized
Yeah.
object ever again. Like, there's no need. Well, I don't need to do that.
At least I want to fly Ryanair for a while.
Or Alaska
I wasn't
Airlines. Any
exactly
budget.
flying it much, but yeah, sure.
Those days aren't far behind me. Okay. my second headline was going back to the Bill Ackman subject, but back to Harvard.
Oh,
Yeah. The Boston Globe recently published an article saying that it needs to protect students better, where they interviewed a bunch of students on Harvard's campus. And the general consensus was basically we have to find more middle ground, and on both sides of the spectrum, no one feels like the administration is able to kind of protect them from each other or the outside world of politics.
Right.
I mean,
Kids have it hard right now. There were no billionaires taking out giant
That-
posters with my face on it.
that's true. And that's what we were talking about earlier today, that like when we went to school, well,
weren't
you're all
posting on
young,
social.
but Damien and I, there was no social. The social media
Thank
was
God.
like a guy named Charles who got a hold of like a local magazine that no one else could afford. I don't
Yeah,
even know
social
what,
media was leaving your dorm room.
it was seeing somebody outside.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there is no conversation anywhere anymore. Like it's just a lot of yelling. And didn't we grow up in a whole era of safe spaces? Like that wasn't that supposed to be what
I
it
will
is?
say the president of my school, Michael Roth, has
Yeah.
published a book about safe spaces. I believe that's actually in its title. It's Safer Spaces or something.
Ugh.
So he really likes to pat himself on the back for saying that everyone should be allowed to say anything.
Oh, I mostly agree with that.
Unless a billionaire donor is threatening to withhold a
Is
major
unhappy
donation.
about what
Yeah,
you said. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. But think about that's where this starts. It's just an overinflated ego of a billionaire donor.
I hope one day that's my problem.
Right.
I'm a billionaire with an overinflated ego.
So, and the last two things I had were connected. One
Okay.
of them was a story I saw reposted on a lot of social media profiles on Instagram, which was the Guardian article 2023 smashes records for the world's hottest year by a huge margin.
Uh-oh. Do you know how
Like
huge?
that.
Pretty huge. It
Okay.
says here that temperatures during 2023 likely exceeded those of any period in the last 100,000 years.
Oh,
100,000 years?
100,000 years.
Holy crap.
Almost half the days were 1.5 degrees Celsius. That's more than Fahrenheit hotter
Yeah.
than any day
Whoa.
before the industrial period. And for the first time, 2 days were more than 2 degrees Celsius hotter. So
Jeez.
that's not looking
So
pretty good.
So that's
I'm
where the
pretty
snow
warm
went.
in my sweater right now.
Yeah.
that's a different problem.
Yeah, and some type of language that you don't want scientists to resort to was used in the Guardian article. One scientist characterized the heat trends as gobsmackingly bananas.
Was that
Not
plagiarized?
Creative.
Chantal, I don't want to put you on
Not
the
sure it
stereo.
was.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but how do when you see this type of story shared on other? You said you saw it a lot on social media. How do the people react to this? Like, are they doing funny dances or what are they saying exactly?
That's maybe the oldest person question you could possibly ask.
okay. So what? I just asked. Let her answer.
No, to describe Instagram reposting culture, The Guardian has an official website or page.
Okay.
And so everyone will kind of post The Guardian's story on their own page so that more
Sure.
people will see it.
Okay.
So they're kind of just starting the dialogue and asking people to go check out this article.
I hate
Get
social.
educated.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
my fault. I just assume everything is TikTok.
It is nice that one person in this show right now actually has been on social media at any point in their
Yeah,
life.
but she just said gobsmackingly bananas. I'm a
no,
little-
that was a
That was a
quote.
quote,
That
yeah.
was plagiarized from some scientists.
That's true.
I
The first
actually
moment of
put
plagiarism.
quotation marks around it.
But they're
so-
quotations,
Oh,
yeah.
she's
But
covered.
She
improperly
cited it. She cited it.
Improper.
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
Go ahead,
blah.
Chantal.
But the last article, interestingly enough, I think the more exciting story was about COP28 and coming up COP29. But most people my age seem to have no clue what's going on with this. So how are we addressing the climate crisis is by putting big oil CEOs in head of our climate summits.
Yes,
Mic
that
drop.
is how we're doing it. Yeah.
Yes. At COP29 to happen
Wow.
again.
So, like, COP does not break the news cycle for.
No,
Okay.
most people have.
You know?
I searched. I re-downloaded TikTok to go.
Wow.
Just
wow.
for us. That's
Wow.
dedication.
That
That's
is
what we
dedication.
need.
So all of
I'm giving
those
you a
Sorry.
raise.
miles that Matt had calculated that everyone flew, right? You
Yeah.
did the miles.
Yeah, I did the mileage.
90,000.
yes.
So
people.
important, right? That everyone traveled that far.
90,000 people. Think about
90,000
that.
people
There
attended.
were
people.
90,000 attendees.
Yeah, and the largest delegate was from like Brazil or
Yeah.
something. It
Which
was like
is
a weird
so far
country,
away. So far away.
which is as far as you can be. So so that means the Gen Z-est
Gen Z
stories of the week are the Boeing Max incident, Ryanair. The
Right.
like
Yeah,
the,
so
it's basically
Chantal-
the
I mean, that
background
makes
of
sense. Budget airlines,
Well, it
you know.
being
Yeah,
financial,
Chantal
yeah.
is blaming poor students for the crash of. I like that. I like
I
that.
would what I like about that
Exactly.
is in 7 minutes, Chantal did more research than we did on that story. The Boston Globe covering Harvard undergrads and grads not needing to be protected more.
Yep.
And no one is talking about COP28, but that it was the hottest year in 100,000
But
years.
they are talking about that it's the hottest.
They are
year.
talking about it. So everyone's like, I'm hot, but COP28 doesn't factor. So that's basically what we're saying.
Care about the
Should-
movement, not about the logistics.
Right.
You know what though? I mean, our age difference is like 10 years, right? So I feel like
Now
Chantal,
you're
you
old.
have like climate
age-
change.
Don't
and
out her age.
The planet getting hotter, like has been in your purview, like since you were
A child.
a child,
Yeah.
right? Whereas for us, I think
I
we
love
were
grandmother
older when it
Ari.
was like, okay, now, like for realsies,
Yeah.
for
yeah.
realsies now, right?
Yeah.
Grandmother Ari.
It wasn't dire.
Look
when
at
we
you
were
pulling
children.
rank on Chantal.
It's already dire.
How
I'm
about-
just saying.
How about vote?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna vote for climate change.
Oh,
Wait, which one though? There's two
The hotter-
stories about
the
punch.
hotter-
it's a double.
the one
That's a double header.
Yeah.
It's all one.
Yeah.
It's all one.
No, it's two
reposted
separate headlines.
everywhere.
No, because I actually appreciate what she did here is that she separated them out in the sense that yes, the Gen Z is gravitating towards the big headline, like, oh, it's really hot, but they're not going towards the like there
Is
are
that your
oil
Gen Z
executives.
impression?
There are oil executives running the last two cops. Like that doesn't sound right?
But I will say, every time I talk to someone about it, everyone cares much more about that than everyone that was anticipating the Guardian article. I found it interesting that the COP28 news isn't making kind of headlines in my generation's social circles the way I feel like it should be. So
You know
I'm
what
not
it
sure
is?
what that implies.
This is why you're
you-
here, Chantal. You're our Gen Z savior.
You know why though? It's because
Nothing gets done.
No, nobody can name the people to be angry at. We're very good when we have a name of a human
I like
being to
that.
be angry at, right?
I like
Or a
that.
name of a small group. But saying like COP28, it's like, well, it was like 120 countries with delegates and a million lobbyists and executives. Like, who am I angry at there?
I feel
Any
like the
other
BBC
votes?
did a pretty good job of naming those former oil executives, though, too.
They
Well,
did.
it's proper journalism. It's not like our American Business Insider-y type journalism.
All
Any other votes?
Jesse, you got a vote?
Vote.
Most Gen Z-est.
You know, as the money whisperer, I like the financial perspective of the Boeing
Yeah.
737.
Me
We
too.
hadn't talked about that, so
Yeah, we haven't.
never thought about that. So that's my vote.
I have to say, like, that might not be the Gen Z-est, but I love that story mostly because, like, it's so painfully, predictably,
Obvious.
logically the outcome, right?
Is that
like,
your vote, Matt?
we want to create a plane that jams more humans on it. I want to
kill the environment.
plane,
Yeah.
and we don't care about any other factors. We just need to sell as many seats as we can, and that means somehow door plugs there's fewer of them, and
Yeah.
they're there's more.
And we just don't screw them in. Maybe we skip every other screw.
if we
bolt.
I think
But
4
but-
were missing from the door that went.
Yeah,
in.
we didn't need those
missing,
4.
yes, missing. But I'm not voting for that because
Oh my God.
I'm not voting for that because while I learned something, I do feel like the more interesting thing is naming names. I think that like the climate change naming names thing, which gets to what we're free float.
What's
right?
your vote? What's your vote?
I'm doing the COP28.
Got it. Love it.
Because what we've done is we've given directors names and ascribed them carbon emissions, right? We have a list of who runs companies, the names of the people who run the companies who are responsible for the largest emissions every single year. That to me is always more interesting than like saying it's hot. Congratulations, we know it's hot. But knowing who made it hot and getting angry at them, I like that. That's
No
fun.
one's angry.
Yeah, we can make them angry. Let's make them angry.
Before I vote and make Chantal uncomfortable, I do want to point out there's a subplot to her Boeing story, which is that the reason why they had to shove so many people on this plane is because they made the ticket so cheap, and they made travel so so
Accessible.
So what? Accessible. That's one of these low cost airlines is one of the reasons why our environment is in rough shape. Another reason, and why countries like France are now outlawing.
Oh God, not
Oh,
France again.
God,
That's it.
No,
What's
but it's
your vote?
why
vote?
they're banning short-term flights, including banning some Ryanair flights, and they're telling people to take the fucking train. But
Everybody
anyway,
train.
France.
to make
Blah, blah,
Chantal's
blah.
life interesting on her first show here, I am going to create a tie and vote for the Harvard story. So Chantal, what do you think? Break the
that's
tie.
just-
What do you think is the most Gen Z-iest story of the week?
Right now.
You know, relating to what Gen Z cares about, I would say it's going to be Harvard. But what I care about is COP29 and COP28.
Well, it's your vote. It's your vote.
So
That's
you
your
got to
vote.
go with your generation or yourself.
I'm going to go with myself.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
There we go.
The
That's
right
what I like to
answer.
hear.
That's
COP28.
I would
That's the right
vote.
answer. It's the right answer because it's the one I chose. I don't care about you.
Okay, Jesse,
Which means,
Wow.
lift
Is
us
it
up.
finally my turn?
yeah, we're going on the 7th hour
I
of the
feel
show.
like Jesse was surprised every time.
No, we could get there. We could get there.
I was.
Jesse's like,
Oh, let me look.
I
off
I
camera,
was
she fell
totally
asleep.
paying attention. I'm also feeling very hot today. I don't know if it's because there's four of
it's
us
the
or
lights
this light
and
is
Did you
right
hear
here.
Chantal's stories?
It's
Bad
the Guardian.
day.
All I'm okay.
That day wear a
Anyways,
sweater.
let me kick us off. Exhaustingest of the week. There's this headline about Starbucks. Starbucks is sued for 100% ethical sourcing claims for tea and coffee. This bothers me. I'm not exhausted that they're being sued. I love that they're
The
being
right sound
sued.
effect for once.
I am exhausted because the National Consumers League, who is suing them, alleges that producers in the coffee giant supply chain have a documented record of child labor, forced labor, as well as rampant and egregious sexual harassment and assault. The suit says that Starbucks has unjustly benefited from branding itself as a leader in corporate responsibility while hiding the true nature of its practices.
What?
You know, the worst part about this story is I had queued up
Everything?
the laughing sound effect and then could not press that. It would have been really weird to press it there.
Yeah.
And
Because Starbucks prides themselves on,
Yes.
you can track this
On
coffee
bullshit?
bean to, whatever.
I love tracking
Yep.
a bean.
And here's just
As a-
one example. Here's just one example from 2022. A complaint from the Brazilian labor prosecutor against a cooperative there. That's a certified Starbucks supplier.
Very
They
well done,
alleged
Jesse. Yeah.
that, according to the complaint, there were abusive and unsafe working conditions analogous to slavery, including violence, confinement, and trafficking.
Wow.
Never a good analogy.
So these are
Yeah.
not just like little things like, oh, we make them work 50 hours a week and they wish they only worked 40. They are serious. They're serious complaints. And
Don't downplay our union efforts here in the United States.
Oh,
So anyways,
stop it, socialist.
just think again before you buy
All
a
right.
Starbucks
So which
some
part is
people-
exhausting?
Hey, after the show's over, I
Exhausting
need a
is the
Starbucks. Does anybody want a
person in this
Starbucks?
room.
I'm gonna track
Jesse,
the beans and make sure.
This is
got
where your
some
money's
Star Wars.
just in line with everything we're talking about. This is what you're supporting. This is where your money's going.
Which
to.
part are you exhausted at, Jesse? That they're lying about it, or like what?
No,
which is the
that
part?
a lot. This is just one example of a big company that's using some like a blanket statement, 100% ethical,
That's right,
without
hiding
actually
being.
being. They're
yeah.
hiding behind it. They're not
Fake
being called out.
advertising.
Greenwashing.
This is happening
slavery.
Yes.
everywhere.
All right. What else, Jesse?
All right. So I have what I call companies being the most American.
Ooh, now I'm.
Oh,
now
I
you're
like
talking.
this
I like
already.
it.
This is my favorite thing already.
And I have two examples of this. We have McDonald's that just announced that double Big Macs are going to hit their menu.
Wait. Slow down. Say
This
that
month.
slower. Say that slower.
Okay.
What are they-
I'll
what-
explain to
yeah.
you what it is. It's a double
it?
Big Mac
A double
Which means-
Big Mac.
that it will contain 4 patties.
No.
Can you multiply big? Is that mathematically possible?
Can your mouth open that
4
wide?
patties.
No, be real. The patties you
patties?
get at McDonald's are like a paper thin.
I don't
patties,
know.
right?
Though.
So you-
Even-
Sure,
even
Matt, it's all good
4
for you, Matt,
seems
yeah.
aggressive.
Thinning out their
s-
patties.
all I'm saying is that
Smart.
like they're
like a
not
nori roll,
exactly
sure.
yeah, like you go to like Max Burger on the corner where the office is and you can get a 12-pound burger and
Shameless
McDonald's has a double Big Mac and it's 4 patties and it's still probably a quarter
No,
pound.
Jesse's right. You're right.
All right. And then we have Miller Lite, who has announced
I already don't like
that
that.
the brand's beer mints are going to hit the market.
Wait, what?
Slated for they're
What's a-
coming out with
what's a
they're
beer
trying
mint?
to embrace dry January by coming out with beer mints. Let me read to you what they say.
Yeah, what is
when you
that?
pop the mint, when you pop the mint in your mouth, the freshest of mint will come through first, and then a subtle yet great taste of Miller Lite that leaves consumers' breath feeling fresh and their taste buds hot.
I kind of like this. This kind of
No.
makes
So
me
you
laugh.
can
I
have
like
beer
this.
breath without drinking beer.
Yes, just whatever. If you can't get through dry January without having beer on your breath, just drink the freaking beer. Like, what are we doing?
How about some applause for Christmas? That
What are
is
we
such
doing?
it's such a gluttonous month of alcohol and food that we need to create dry January. Good job, Santa Claus.
I just can't with these two. Like, come on. These are no other country would do this.
Well, we
you
did.
don't have double Big Macs coming to France or
Come on, France. No, they have. You can get
Spain.
steak tartare in France, which is literally a pound of ground raw steak.
I don't think that's the same.
Is it?
There are less preservatives in
I
that.
suppose.
That's
thank
true.
you.
None.
It does
Why is
get-
it a pound, Matt? Why in your head is it a pound?
It's always a pound. Everything's
Okay.
a pound.
All right.
What do you remember
else,
the
Jesse?
commercials that Burger
Yeah.
King did that like they just filmed the burger decaying and they were like, we do natural food. Like that was like
No.
because like they accidentally contrasted it against themselves where the burgers didn't decay and they were like, now the food is natural. Like what have we been eating for so long? Is there another one?
Yeah, okay, I have one more.
Oh.
One more headline. This has to do with the FDA, which just perpetually exhausts me. So there's two articles here with this one, and I got to give you some background info. So breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer death among women globally. It recently replaced lung cancer as the most commonly
winning.
diagnosed cancer.
I like winning.
So here's the headline. More than 900 chemicals in widespread use could be increasing breast cancer risk. Scientists reported in a peer-reviewed study.
One of them's PFAS. It's got to be.
It is. It is. There's
Another. Can I do one more
bisphenols and
one more sidebar
phthalates.
for Chantal? Ari always mentions batteries, and Jesse always mentions PFAS. Go ahead,
That's-
Jesse.
Oh, I worked with PFAS all summer.
Oh.
Okay.
Like
okay.
massaging them or what? Like
Attending, Massachusetts is trying to ban them.
Yes. Oh, let's all move to
Speaking of
Mass.
women in leadership,
All right. And then the other headline about the FDA that further exhausted me was the FDA says Ozempic probably won't make you suicidal.
wait, it
This
probably
is
won't
supposed
make
to
you
be
suicidal.
an organization that protects us. This is a consumer protection organization. So they are letting chemicals that should never, ever have been approved in everything that we consume and put on our bodies and into our bodies. And Ozempic, which back in September had 9 million prescriptions written for it. So there are many, many, many people, Americans, using this drug. They say, oh, we feel okay about this. It probably won't make you suicidal. So, because there are increasingly more anecdotes coming that there's potentially a correlation. So they did a quick little study and said,
That's a
no,
quick
we
study.
don't find correlation here. I just think
What the heck's going
that
on
if
over
you
there?
are supposed to be protecting an entire country of consumers,
Mm-hmm.
you should not feel comfortable releasing a statement if probably is in it when it has to do with the lives of these people. Come on. I just can't. I don't like
you,
the
Jesse.
FDA. So those are my three. You have Starbucks and other large companies hiding behind these bold claims that trick people that are trying to be more conscious about consuming into consuming their products. Companies being the most American and the FDA not actually protecting us from anything.
this one's
Come on,
super easy.
Ari, I know
Right.
you want to
These
vote,
are
Ari.
very
Oh,
exhausting. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
This was the easiest one ever. Because beer mints is just, it's not only exhausting, but it's a joke of exhaustingness. Do we cover a company that was making Doritos flavored bourbon or something too? Like,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it-
yeah.
Yeah. I
Cool
mean, like,
Ranch bourbon.
it was like, there is nothing more American than taking a fast food or snack food and turning it into some other food that makes no sense. I love this. 4 patties and a beer mint. That's what I'm having for dinner.
I am exhausted by. I'm gonna go with Starbucks.
Okay, I
I'm gonna
want
go
that.
with the
Okay.
ethically compromised.
Damien,
I
you
want
want to
like a
go
real
next,
one.
or you want to be a potential tiebreaker?
Do you have a vote, Chantal, already?
I would go with the FDA.
Oh God! Look
Oh,
at her.
oh, wow.
Creating
Well,
a
look at
tie.
that.
Creating
we got a
drama.
tie.
We're all
I
over
like
the
this.
Drama,
We're all over
drama.
the
She's a PFAS gal like me.
Yeah, that's
Anti-PFAS gal.
exhausting.
Blah,
is
blah,
most-
blah.
What am I exhausted
The
by?
anti-peefs.
I mean,
We're gonna
Starbucks
have
sounds
we're
dirty.
gonna have t-shirts made
I don't
up.
like that.
Don't worry.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Anti-peefs.
We'll have them.
I am breaking the tie here, right?
Yeah.
I have to say, this is rough.
Go with your gut.
These are good ones, Jesse.
Go with your 4 patties.
I you know what it is? I think it's the same reason why I hate the fact that headlines don't name CEOs. I am a bit exhausted by these international conglomerates able to hide behind supply chains that exist like 75,000 light years away. So I'm going to vote for Starbucks.
Nice.
Yeah, like there's actually no way on earth I feel like
Thank you
Starbucks
for that,
could
Matt.
ever verify 100% ethical sourcing with just the
They
volume.
could.
of
You know how they could?
beans.
You know how they could? They don't have to have a
Blockchain?
corporation that opens 90,000
Yeah,
stores.
yeah.
We don't have to do everything to scale. We don't have to do it this way. Yeah.
All right, so
All right.
Starbucks wins.
Starbucks wins, which means we're on to the next thing, which
Finally.
is
Who won the week? Winners? Winners, anybody? Who's
Winners
got a
and
winner?
I have a
Predictions.
winner.
Who's your winner,
Now,
Jesse?
Chantel doesn't have a winner or prediction, but she can choose which one of us. Either
She
you
was
can
not
make one up,
obligated. I did not obligate her to do this week.
but
Yeah,
you can
I, like,
also
rarely
you
have
can
any of
choose
these.
which one of these winners is the real winner if you like to.
I have a winner.
Go,
I have
Jesse,
two
go first.
winners, so maybe
It's
maybe she
climate
can steal one of
change.
mine. That's the
Climate
winner.
change.
Is the winner of the week.
That's
Depressing.
This is the world's hottest year.
Wow, that's
Well,
exhausting.
they
This
did
winner
win.
of the
Everyone
week.
very meta.
knows that it is now.
Ari, you have a winner.
I did not have a winner.
Oh,
I'm the most exhausted.
That's kind of a
sleep
winning
training.
moment.
Sleep training is my winner.
Sleep training, winning the
Oh, my
winning the week. Damien, who's your winner?
I actually have two winners, so maybe
Oh,
one's
wow.
an honor.
Damn.
One's an honor
you
of
could have given me
Chantal.
one.
True. So I kind of feel like we might have won the week because of the Boeing full circle story. Because again, we started this company talking about the board at Boeing, and it's up to it. Remember, that board, to deal with the first crisis, just took a member from its board and made them CEO.
Yes, that is correct.
Right.
I'm
Instead
not
of finding an external hire to change the culture that created these horrible crashes in the first place, they just took one of their friends who
I'm
is
not
now appointing other
sure.
friends.
I'm not sure though that the 0 people who listen to this show will remember that we started
True.
this company.
Are we
That's
the
why-
ultimate losers?
That's
We
why I
are
picked
the
another
losers.
winner, and this goes along with your goodliest of the week, Ari. Is that the new? I'm almost shocked to say this, but there's a black head coach in the National Football. Yes, black, and his name is Gerard Mayo. He's going to be the Patriots head coach. But
really?
there's so few. I think there are only 2 or 3, and anyway, I got to celebrate this.
All right, my winner is door plugs. I'm going to order 300
Speaking
of
of
them.
Gerard Mayo,
I just want door plugs
my
everywhere.
God.
I want them covering. I want to sleep on a bed of door plugs.
We're
That
only
sounds
joking
comfy.
about this because nobody got physically hurt.
Well, yes.
no, Matt
correct.
would
Needed-
joke about things when people get hurt. You know,
Door
Matt.
plug ornament.
I'm yeah.
Hey, now we know it's
Ooh.
not like the movies, though. If a door flies off the airplane, no one's gonna go flying out after it.
Unless they were
That's right.
sitting in
Right
the
next to
seat.
it,
right there.
Unless they didn't have their
Yeah.
seatbelt on, yeah.
Predictions. Do we have any predictions? Jesse.
Yeah, Ozempic prescriptions rise exponentially in correlation with the McDonald's locations that start selling these double Big
Oh,
Macs.
clever.
So
Clever.
I see. I like because I was going to be really dismissive of
I know you were.
Ozempic is
I
going
already
up.
saw it all over your face.
And then
I'll go-
you threw in the 4 patties, and then I liked it.
4 patties. Come on.
hey,
I'll go
the Happy
next
Meal
'cause-
will counteract any other side effect.
What about a double Happy Meal? Can you be doubly happy?
I want a 4
Hopefully.
patty Happy Meal.
I'll go next because, Matt, I think yours is fitting to
Okay.
end the show on. I have a very boring prediction. One of the strategic organizing center directors at Starbucks ends up on the board. And I'm going to go I'm going to go for the easy pick and say it's the guy because there's one guy, Joshua Gottbaum. The 2 women are probably going to scare everyone because they're really intelligent and they do good things. So I'm going to pick the guy.
That's
That's my boring prediction.
Which leaves me with my prediction. Unless Chantal, you want to do a winner in prediction or anything? Nope.
I'm all right.
Chantal's good. My prediction to get us out of here. The prediction is Chantal goes back to campus and immediately starts a podcast and a social media channel called Done, Done, and Done, which is a pun.
Done and Dunner.
My last name is Dunn for
That's
context.
correct.
We needed that.
She covers the business news, and by February, it has twice as many subscribers as us.
This is
and
gonna come
multi-million
true.
views on TikTok.
Best prediction yet.
I
That
wish
is
her
my
luck.
prediction. And we're going to be begging her for an internship at Done, Done, and Done.
I like
this.
this.
Is over. That is the cast of Free
Done,
Float. I'm
Done,
not
and
even gonna-
Dunner.
I'm not even going to name everybody. There's too many people now. Come back next week. On Monday, we have Nuggets. On Wednesday, we have Woke Wednesday. On Thursday, we have a Proxy Countdown show, the other show, and then we'll be back next Friday. Until then, goodbye.